Can you do a cartwheel?
Starting pregame now.
Oh my gosh, there is so much wind noise, echo.
It's perfect.
Sure, you want to hit that pregame?
We're pre-gaming it right now, yo. My bad, everybody. Yo, Google was being a huge floppy donkey. Never mind. Yeah, but Google decided to freeze the Hangout, do all sorts of shit with it. You know, folded up origami, made a swan, all that good stuff. But we are here for you guys now. What's going
For
on,
you.
everybody?
Up, peoples.
Hey guys.
What up?
Today's the day we're gonna give Xbot some shit.
Why me? Why me? What did I do?
We're just giving you a hard time all day. This is just how it's gonna go.
You know,
I can tell you right now.
it was funny. I had the gameplay all done and ready to go like yesterday. I hope you guys can see the graphics because I think they're pretty cool. I tried to when we have a guest in here, I like to try to make them feel at home. So with Invader in here, I hope he can see that he's got friends on the overlay today. But everything was going good, and then Google and Hangouts decided that they were just gonna go crazy. So I don't know.
Man, who's buzzing?
I don't know. I think
I think
that's
it's me.
that's Invader's influence, man. You know that alien tech around him might
Totally.
might interfere a little bit, but
Interferes with all our electronics.
That makes sense.
it's funny. As soon as Invader said yes that he would come on to the show, I lost like 3 hours of time. I don't know what happened or where I was. So
I can't find any fucking parking.
oh no, here we go. Hey guys, I know you might recognize that voice, but O Snaps decided that she was gonna come in and say what's up for the pregame and all that good stuff.
Be a weekly thing. I can't hear her though.
You can't.
No.
Can you hear me now?
Can hear, but you're real low.
Mm.
There's
Well,
nothing I can do about that.
She'll start yelling pretty quickly.
I'm on the phone and my Wi-Fi.
And she's trying to find a parking spot. Yo, the city that she works in is like the worst city to drive in around here. Like I feel for her every time she goes to work, and I also hear about it as well.
Oh, sweet Jesus, I got a parking space.
Yo, Newark, did you hear that?
Uh,
Right out front.
Newark.
Hallelujah.
There we go.
Hallelujah.
I am just pulling up our awesome list of topics here. What is up, Daz? How you doing, man? We got Tommy Guns in the chat. Space Cat, what is going on? The chat is popping right now.
Hey guys, thanks for joining.
Everybody hit that.
All right,
like
you
button.
guys put so many gifts about that Google free the Hangout freezing that like I have to dig for my topics here. Thank you, really appreciate
You
it.
what?
Don't worry. About it. You got this.
Yeah, well, just to let you guys know, the Wizard of the UWP seems to be a little fired up about one of the topics we have. So hopefully, after a couple of drinks, we get in on it, and he definitely expresses how he feels. Because I think I'm in the same boat with you, man. I think we feel kind of the same way with that issue.
has to be addressed, man.
It's
Just to let them know that there are some people out here of the community that has different opinions.
no,
Because they seem to lump everybody up in the same category. So
uh-oh.
Mhm.
I am definitely looking forward to the show. Yo, Foos, I don't know if you saw it last week, but since you weren't here to really kick off the intro, did you hear K Mega try to do that, man?
No, I didn't.
No?
But I'm guessing it was amazing.
I don't know. I think he's building a complex because over on GRG podcast, they got a guy called the Fonz, and he has a radio voice as well. So like he's like, oh man, we got Foos, on Saturdays. We got the Fonz on Fridays. He's feeling a little insecure about his voice, and he tried to put it like 110%, man. and
Yeah, he kind of overdid it.
yeah,
Kind of oversold it, right?
Oh, I gotta go back and hear it.
yeah. It was
It'll make you a little uncomfortable.
it was a little creepy, man.
Well,
It was a little creepy.
I'll show him how to do it tonight.
All right, so you guys are gonna go through you're gonna take them through a couple classes. I don't know if you could teach natural ability though, man.
Nah, you gotta be able to hit the B button and the Y and the X also.
Yeah,
No, I think Mega got Foos beat a little bit with the smooth talk.
Oh,
Oh,
You don't watch Mega videos on YouTube? He be like live from the 405.
Shots
hey,
fired.
Mega do be smooth.
Yeah,
He's smooth.
he be smooth with it.
he sounds like he could sell cereal on Saturday mornings. What? No, I'm just playing, man. Yo,
He's only smooth when he does it by accident, though. It's not like when he does it.
Yo, Newark, we gotta go in on Mega Man. That's one of our pastimes over here at Next. So
Mega Man.
Mega Man.
Mega Man.
But I don't know,
We're
yo.
gonna miss him tonight doing his shoo-doo.
Yeah.
Shoo-doo.
When we get into the intros, I was actually gonna let everybody know exactly where he is fangirling right now.
He's doing the Macarena. We all know he's doing the Macarena right now.
Oh my
Well, then maybe we
goodness.
should get started.
I don't know. You guys ready to check out the intro?
Yeah, let's do this. Oh wait,
Oh.
sorry, Foos.
Hey,
Sorry,
you know that was pretty smooth right there, actually.
That was a knee-jerk reaction. I'm sorry.
I'm waiting on Foos, man. Waiting on Foos.
Oh, my bad. Let's do it.
Yeah, buddy. What's going on, people, and welcome to another episode of the Next Podcast, guys. We have a great show for you today. As you can see from the graphics right now, I gotta do a shout out to my boy Noble Addiction. All right, his YouTube channel is in the description. This is Noble Addiction's game spotlight right here. It's called Graceful Explosion Machine. As you can see, it's a really cool game. It's something that he's been playing. If you want to find out more about it, like I said, his YouTube channel is in the description below. Definitely check it out. And if you like the content, you know what to do, man. You got to subscribe. But as for today's show, we are going in on ResolutionGate. We are talking about Xbox One doing digital refunds. We have a lot of topics on the table for you guys. But you know we can't start the show without the intros. And it is my honor and my privilege to introduce our special guest, a real smart guy in terms of gaming, and I've been waiting to get him on the show for a while. But let me introduce Invader.
Hey everyone, and what the heck is going on? It's Invader here, and I'm ready to have an awesome time with this group of badasses right here. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Nice, man. I hope you like the overlay and everything I tried to do to kind of make you feel a little more at home. I don't know if you could tell, but right by the little blue gray, there's actually a UFO pulling up a cow. I thought that, you know, because even they eat burgers, I guess. I don't know, man. But yo, it's a pleasure to have you on the show, especially with the topics that we're getting into. They're those kind of topics that make people think and really kind of stretch the boundary of what's going on in the gaming community. I can't wait to hear your opinions on them, man.
Oh yeah, totally. And yeah, these are some pretty hot topics right now in the community. So like, I can't wait to sound off with everybody.
Nice. And let me see if. All right, and let's go next on the list. The first lady of the Next Podcast. I don't know if she's muted right now. Let me see here.
I'm here.
All right.
Muted, yes.
And the creator of the nextpodcast.com. I am very proud to introduce Oh Snaps.
What's up, everybody? Happy Saturday. I'm at work right now, so I'm trying to behave, but I hope you guys enjoy the show, and I'll try to be involved whenever I can.
Beautiful, beautiful. You absolutely surprised me when you jumped into the hangout today. Like I said, you are the cookie peddler extraordinaire, and it's really good to have you on the panel again.
I miss my next fam. What can I say? I had to jump in at least for the pregame.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Let's see how long she stays in, guys, before all of a sudden customers and everything just pull her away. But yeah, it's great to have you on. Uh, let's go next on the list here, and we'll introduce that chinchilla wearing fool. It's time to kiss that ring and show that respect. The Don.
Hey, what's up, guys? Today's gonna be an interesting show because I have absolutely no idea what are the topics. So this is gonna be fun.
See, Don, there's something called a DM on Twitter in which the topics are actually typed out right there for you. And
I can't be bothered with those things. Details, come on.
I got you, man. I got you. So it's
Topics
gonna,
are for peasants. Come on.
the Don is gonna freestyle today.
Yeah, let's rock out my controller out, right? So
No doubt, man. Well, talk about freestyle. It's time to introduce the smooth talker of the next podcast, that golden voice, Fooskies.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Glad to see that I made it back again for another Saturday after eating my turtle soup last week. It didn't kill me. But I do know now why the shredder wanted them turtles so bad, because that shit was delicious.
Nice, nice, man. It is great to have you on. Like I said, last week, K Mega tried to do the whole "let's do this," and I'm not sure. It was a little awkward. There's people in the chat. They kind of stepped back a little bit, but it is great to have you back in. And we're actually going to get your thoughts about the Scorpio since we didn't get it last week. All right, man.
All right, that'll work.
Nice, nice. And of course, another guy who seems to have some issues with his car. I don't know what's going on with that Jag, man, but he is the self-proclaimed king of Halo Breakout and the wizard of the UWP, Newark NJ.
What's going on, people? It's good to be back. The issues with the car was to get a routinely tune up, and some people, when it comes to foreign cars, some people don't know what they're doing. So it took a little longer than expected, but everything's good.
So it's funny.
It's good to be back. Can't wait to get into these topics.
It's funny because the Don, like, he said that he knew what was wrong. Yo, Don, do you remember what you said last week?
Yeah, something about his Johnson rod being bent. I don't know what that was all about.
Newark,
that's the rumor.
That's what he was saying, Newark, man. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but him and Mega we're going in hard on that. No pun intended.
Okay. All right. Whatever that is.
Yeah.
But everybody enjoy the show. I can't wait to get into these topics, man.
Nice, man. And huge shout out to our boy K Mega. The YouTuber that comes live from the 405. He is fangirling right now. I believe he's in a Isley Brothers concert. So he's like his hands are up. He's like, he probably fainted like 3 times or whatever. But so he's not able to make the show this week. But huge shout out to Mega. I know he's gonna check it out afterwards. So any little kind of like sticks we could get on K Mega throughout the show, definitely do that, guys. So this way, he knows that he was missed this Saturday. But let's get into the topics. And like I said to Foos, and I'm going to go to Newark as well, but I do want to start with our special guest. The Scorpio, the specs were announced. We had, Digital Foundry come out and say, what was running this thing. We had, I think it was Gama Sutra come out and talk about the dev kit. So I just want to get a quick rundown from these 3 guys, and we're going to start with the special guest. So, Invader, what do you think about the Scorpio? Are you hyped up for it? Is this something that you're kind of like looking forward to when it releases this year? Invader.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Like he invading someone right now.
Oh, it must be all that tech.
His mic muted.
He's abducting a cat right now.
I can't tell because his background is white. But all right, man. Well, we'll get back to him. Let's move on down the line. Let's move to Foos, and then we'll go back to Invader when we can actually talk to him again. So, Foos, what did you think about the Scorpio, man? Is it everything that you feel was hyped up to be? Are you excited for this next console coming out this year?
Oh, I'm still just as excited as I was when they first announced it. Um, it does what it's supposed to do. So, you know, besides all the speculating and wishful thinking that we had, yeah, it doesn't have some of the tech that we expected. It was kind of you know, um, just kind of us throwing some ideas together of what we thought would have to be in this machine in order to do what they were saying. But since it's doing what they're saying it's going to do, I'm pretty excited about it. I can't wait to pick one up.
Nice, nice. Now you said, it wasn't the tech that we had kind of like predicted when we were going back and forth trying to talk about how this thing would do like 4K 60 frames per second. When this tech was announced, when they announced that they were using like heavily customized Jaguar cores and a Polaris GPU with Vega Tech in it, which we just found out, I believe it was today. I watched a video from Dealer Gaming. Huge shout out to Dealer, and he let it be known that there is Vega Tech as well within this GPU. But was it a disappointment to you, or just like you said, just because it can do what they promised, you're okay with all that?
Yeah, I wasn't disappointed at all. I mean, everybody knows I'm not real big on knowing tech, but I mean, a lot of it was kind of obvious, and when they say there's no bottlenecks and things like that, it's something that you expect from some of these games to run good. So I'm excited. I'm not upset at all. As long as it does what it's supposed to do, then I'm all for it.
Nice, nice. Yo, let's hit O Snaps real quick if she could talk for a second. O Snaps, are you there? Or is she muted? I believe she's muted.
She
Yeah, I
is
think
muted.
I
you
am the
guys.
best host in podcast history. I swear to God. Uh,
Invader's back though. If you want to hit him
is
up.
Invader back?
Yeah, that's what he said.
All right, yo, Invader, man. When it comes to the Scorpio and the unveiling of, the specs and everything like that, they also, I believe, Gama Sutra went in and talked about like the dev kit and all that stuff. After hearing all this information, how do you feel about the Scorpio? Are you excited for it? Is it something that you are planning on getting like day one?
Well, going off of what we know so far, and I kind of missed like a whole bunch of the news that dealer dropped earlier because I was working,
Mm-hmm.
but I know I'm pretty stoked and excited for this console. Like, it's something that while it's releasing in like the middle of the generation, it's featuring like a lot of technology that you just don't expect from like a mid-gen refresh.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just smaller. It's a more not just a more efficient Xbox One, but it packs a punch with the 4K resolution, the new features like FreeSync, the improved game DVR. As being a content creator, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And assuming things pan the way that we think they will, I'm looking really forward to the consistency, the stability, and just the delivering of the games for the console.
Nice, nice. Now, Invader, you did touch on the fact that mid-gen refresh, and there's a lot of people out there on social media that are like, well, technically, this is kind of like the start of the next generation. Just Xbox doesn't want to say it is, and stuff like that. Do you believe this console? Do you see it as like a mid-gen refresh, or do you see it as like a next generation console?
Well, I definitely don't see it as a next gen console. But you have to keep in mind that the like both Sony and Microsoft are doing something different by improving their consoles with the way that they are.
Mm-hmm.
Even with, like if people aren't satisfied with the Pro, it is definitely like a step up in a lot of regards to the original PS4. Um, but to me, like this isn't uh like Microsoft they're working on like a with the future of the Xbox, like whatever the next console is gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, this is them future proofing what the next like future proofing the Xbox One with whatever iterations they're making right now.
Yeah, I definitely see that, and man, I'm gonna pick your brain, dude. I'm gonna like when these topics come up. I am some of the questions are going to be easy, and some of them are going to be like, damn, man, I never thought about that. But what do you think about the fact that this is just real quick, and then we're gonna move on to Newark. What do you think about the fact that they built the hardware around like the current generation engines? Like I think that was a genius move. But like, how do you feel that they actually came up with something like that, man?
Well, not being a tech guy by any means, but I think that's pretty badass of them to do so. I mean, that just means that, a lot of the engines should work phenomenally and
Mm-hmm.
run so much more smoother with what we have, or what we're going to have. So for the ability to play games at a more desirable frames per second or have higher graphic fidelity, I think that honestly, I think that it's really smart for Microsoft to be doing what they're doing.
Dude, I thought that was absolutely genius. I think they said they found like 61 bottlenecks within
Yeah.
the Xbox One hardware, and they literally built the hardware around working on like the Frostbite engine, so on and so on. So I'm really excited to see when this thing comes out, because like that
Hmm.
I never heard about, I never heard of a company doing that before, and I guess that is what Digital Foundry said is kind of like the definition of their mid-gen refresh, because they built it off of the current engines to make the current engines run that much better.
Well, not only that, but we're seeing DirectX 12 like just baked right into the hardware itself, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that
like,
that nobody predicted that, man.
well, no, nobody predicted that, and that's why I mean, it's not exactly a refresh by any means. This is something completely new.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Let's go on and talk to the wizard about this, because I think he's got some thoughts and opinions, dude. What do you think about the Scorpio, man? Because you weren't on last week, and we went deep into Scorpio, but just give everybody, like, what do you think? Are you hyped up for it? What is kind of like the positives and the negatives that you think, man?
First off, the only negative about the Scorpio is calling it a next gen refresh because it's not. I don't believe it. The Xbox One will be 4 years old. That's like the average lifespan of a console, besides the consoles from last gen.
So you're saying this is
And,
the next
it's a
generation
nice way
system?
of saying, yeah, it's a next generation console. Like you think about the tech going in, like a mid gen refresh is a PS4 Pro. You know what I'm saying? So, um, the PS4 Pro, not to bring up PlayStation, but it's basically a PS4 that's boosted up. This Scorpio is a beast, like it's a whole new console, and
So you're saying
a lot of people
PlayStation
saying
4
Jack,
does a little bit more, a little more.
yeah, that's a
Look,
little more.
a little more.
Okay.
Because if you look at the side by side, the games look exactly the same, but like everything inside this console is new, like new tech
Mhm.
and stuff like that. Everything.
I got you, but so you don't think the fact that it like I just like talked about with Invader, the fact that the hardware was built around like the current generation engines, where they found the bottlenecks within the hardware and kind of cleaned those up and let the information and the coding run smoothly and stuff. That doesn't really bring it to the fact that it's a mid-gen refresh. Just
It's not a it's not mid gen. This is the end of a generation. It's 4 years. I mean, like last generation went on long. They prolonged it with the Slim and the Connect. Half it was like around 5 years. I mean, it was genius what they did. Define the bottlenecks and stuff like that. But it's a new generation. I mean, when the next Xbox come out, it's a trend that's going on. You know what I mean? Like the Scorpio will be where the Xbox One S is, and then the current Xbox One will be like gone because it won't be able to run anything.
kind of like cell
And then
phones.
Let me ask you. Let me ask you a question, New York. Would it be fair to say it's both? Because
yeah,
it kinda
that'd be fair.
right? I mean, because the current games are coming out, right? Can run on both hardware, but the other hardware's got additional capabilities that the previous hardware doesn't.
Yeah,
But it's the
like what
same game,
Microsoft is
right?
doing is like how like we basically these consoles is basically PCs now. You got the Xbox One S is low settings and the Xbox Scorpio high settings, but is same way as PC. They got to create a game, and both of them it has to run at a lower spec and a high spec.
I got you, man. I
So
got you.
that's basically what it is.
All right.
You
Well,
know what? I kind of agree with you because I would say it's mid-gen refresh right now for what they're gonna do with it, and then later when the games for the Xbox One, when they're not making them no more, they can just move to that Scorpio. That would make sense.
well,
Then they could actually have true exclusives.
I think what Xbox and Microsoft are doing
There will
is they're
never be a Scorpio exclusive. Never.
well, I don't know about that. Maybe down the line, but like I think they're modeling after like the whole cell phone thing. Like when they come out with new hardware, all the apps, all the games will be able to play on both. But then once they keep coming out with new hardware, eventually that first iteration is going to drop off. You know what I'm saying? It
Yeah, that's
just
when Scorpio would be like around $300. You know what I mean? I'll say like around 7 years from now. Yeah, like same way they do with cell phones. Not as fast, but the same model.
Yeah, exactly. And Newark, it's funny that you said like $300 like 7 years from now, because I know one of the hot topics with you is the price point on the Scorpio. So I want you to, with the information that we got now, man, can you make a prediction? How much do you think this thing is going to be at launch?
At minimum, $499. Facts.
Minimum 499.
Someone who's non-delusional, $500, bro. Like, there's
Well, like,
no way in hell that this console is going to be $400, bro. When you got a 2 terabyte slim, $400, you got a $150 controller. They're premium products. You got the look how much the Surface Studio costs. Look how much the newest Surface Pro. I'm telling you, they $500.
$500. Now, see, I predicted $500, but I also predicted that they were going to be using the Ryzen and the Ryzen CPU and the Vega GPU. So with what I
That's
saw,
what $700 coming at.
what?
If you was to use if they was to use that technology, that's the reason why they didn't use it.
brother man,
It's cost and
I have to disagree with you
man,
just
listen,
for the fact.
you gotta look the cost of and then this new tech. The console wouldn't have been out to 2018 if they would have used Ryzen. Like the console, like the chips was done in October, I believe September, October, and if it was using Ryzen and stuff like that, it would have been fall of 2018.
See,
$599.
I want to be clear. New York really hasn't changed his price stance like since the beginning. You've always been kind of high on the price category, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
because they released the slim. They released the slim 2 terabyte at $400.
Yeah,
They're not
well,
going to. They're not going to drop the
250
2 terabyte
right now.
slim to $299. They're not going to release the. They're not going to drop the 1 terabyte slim to.
Well, they only do the 500 gig slim now, so that one that's the one they're sticking with, and that one's 250 right
well,
now.
no, there's a 1 terabyte with the Halo Wars. It's a
A
bundle.
500 gigabyte slim.
Yeah,
There's a
250.
there's a 1 terabyte
Yeah,
bundle
they
that
got 'em.
comes with Halo Wars too.
$499.
$499. Well, see, you're hitting the price point that I said, and after seeing the reveal of the hardware and stuff like that, I was like, well, I'm still gonna say $499 with you, Newark, but I can see a window or an opening for $400 just for the fact of the components and how cheap they
Do that
are.
though. They could do it for. They could do a $399 if they willing to take the loss. It can happen.
All right.
So it's worth $499 at least.
Well, whatever you guys
And
are
I'll
going to be
max it
paying,
out
I'm
at
going to be paying
$549.
I'm going to be paying like an extra $100 on top of what you guys are paying because I'm up in Canada and shit costs like super expensive up here. So I'm just going to add like another $100 to whatever you guys are guessing.
Dude, it's funny. I have friends in Canada like you, Invader, and I got friends in Australia like Smiley Police, Stick Figure, and dude, I feel bad talking to you guys because every time like price comes up, I already know you're getting screwed over, and people in Australia are getting raped. So like it's like damn.
Look at South Africa people. They just getting a slim. They ain't gonna get the
That's
Scorpio
true.
for a long time.
Yo, South Africa! Shout out to my boy Dryer over in South Africa, man. Like they
Yep, I think he was the one that posted that on Twitter.
It's crazy, man. He calls South Africa hell. He's like, yo, reporting live from hell and stuff like that. But yo, shout out to Dryer. I don't know. All in all, I know the community is hyped for this, and I know a lot of the people in the community thought that there should be a complete unveiling before E3, and Microsoft Xbox division, I believe Phil Spencer himself even came out in a blog and basically stated that they will kind of like fully unveil the Scorpio at E3. And I want to go down the panel here and I want to ask you guys if this is a good move. So I'm gonna go back to Invader just because we had a little bit of technical difficulty. So Invader, when it comes to the Scorpio unveiling, do you think it's a good move to unveil the rest of it, like how it looks, the price point, and stuff like that at E3, or do you feel like they should have had like its own special showcase where they unveiled all of that and kept E3 like all about the games, man?
Um, well, okay, in all honesty, I would have preferred like a separate event or unveiling,
Mm-hmm.
or just continue what they've been doing and have like different sites like release the rest of the information or pictures or whatever. Um, because I don't want like the hardware to get lost in E3 or vice versa, the games to get lost amongst the hardware news.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I guess as long as they're on point with their messaging and keep it simple and keep the discussion short, it should be okay. Um, I guess they figure that, you know, uh, since we'll get the remainder of the Scorpio information there and show off the actual box and announce the price, that they'll also be showcasing their game lineup for it all in one place so that the audience only has one spot to see everything. Um, my only thing is, I wonder if they're gonna like show off VR stuff with the Scorpio too, like VR games, stuff like that. And I just really hope it doesn't get lost, like everything just doesn't get lost in the messaging.
Yeah, I got you. It seems like with the Scorpio, like when they first talked about it last year's E3, they said high fidelity VR because VR was kind of like buzzing at that point in time. I've seen Xbox and I've seen Microsoft kind of back away a little bit about that. They're like, oh yeah, it can, but just wait and see. You know what I'm
I
saying?
just got a gut feeling that we're gonna see like VR stuff showing off with like maybe some like VR exclusive stuff. I remember there was talk about like some kind of Fallout VR
Mhm.
game timed exclusivity maybe. I don't know, that was just a rumor floating around, but like I think with the Scorpio announcement and whatever they have to show off at E3 that there will be VR.
I got you. That's interesting. You're actually one of the first people that I've talked to state that about E3. I do have a question for you when it comes to this though. With the hardware being fully unveiled at E3, do you take this as kind of like maybe a warning sign that Xbox doesn't have a lot of games to show at E3 because they are taking a chunk of it and kind of like presenting the hardware? Is there any concern because in social media people are talking about, well, what about the games? And well, they're showing hardware at E3. They don't have any games. What do you think? Is there a concern about a games lineup?
Mm, hard to say, but to be honest, I'm not that concerned because we already know pretty much what we're going to be getting for at least maybe the fall lineup, anyways, the holiday lineup, with Sea of Thieves, Crackdown, State of Decay 2, and so on. Like everything needs release dates, but we think it's going to be around then. But I think we'll be okay though. I think they'll show off a couple of like new properties that we don't know about.
For this year?
For this year, no. I think like more for next year.
Yeah, I think me and you are in the same boat. I think they have a lot of games to announce. I think there's going to be a Fable reboot. I think they're going to come out with a couple new IPs and stuff like that. But I don't think there's anything left for this year. I think we're going to have the State of Decay 2. We're going to have Crackdown, Sea of Thieves. Even Snaps pointed out that the developer of Cuphead has been very, very active on Twitter lately. And that's usually a good sign that their game is going to be coming out this year as well. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty decent lineup. And thinking about all the multiplats, the Battlefront 2 for people who like it, Call of Duty comes out every year. There's a lot of games coming out this year.
Yeah, and there's also games that people forget about as well, like where the heck has Below been?
Oh, that's off my radar now. That's gone to me.
Yeah, what else? I don't know if anybody remembers Ashen,
Mm-hmm.
for example. Like there's a couple of games that have gone under the radar as well. Um, but yeah, I think they'll have a couple of surprises in store. But like I think we already know what the lineup's going to be for the rest of the year, and then they're going to start talking about the games for next year. Um, yeah, Fable would be cool if they sh- you know shot that off. That'd be cool. There's been rumors again about Halo 3 anniversary. I don't know if anyone caught that.
Nah, see, now you're just kissing up to the host right now. You know that, right?
Oh, am I?
Dude, I've been saying that from the beginning. Like, how would you like you make an anniversary for 1 and 2? 1, 2, and 3 is one story. How would you not make an anniversary for the third one?
I
And
think Master Chief Collection probably gave them Halos like a bad taste to everybody. And then
uh,
Phil said no Halo first person shooters this year, so
so, wow, it's like Phil's like, yo, because of the MCC, no Halos this year. Nah, I don't think I man, the rumors keep coming up. This new rumor is there was a presentation by AMD, and in part of the presentation it had upcoming titles, PC and whatnot, and they had Halo 3 pictures in there. All right, and they looked better than Halo 3 originally, and so that's why there's that rumor circulating again. But I do want to move down the list here. So Don, what do you think about the unveiling of the Scorpio at E3? Would you have rather had a separate showcase, or what do you think about that, man?
I think it's a really hard one to call because you don't really know their full lineup of stuff they have to show and how tied everything is to one another, right? So sometimes separating things, the message is lost along with the games, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes,
Mhm.
what's the point of dragging in, places like GameStop and or GameSpot, IGN, and these clickbait based, I call them blogs. They're blogs. They're not news, right? What's the point in inviting those people if they're just gonna shit on your product and take that time to do that, right?
Oh, so if you're saying if they had a separate showcase, because usually that's the gaming press that's in the audience right there. You're saying,
Exactly.
oh,
So when you release, things at E3, it's become a much different thing than what it originally was, right? The, this is not only releasing to everyone of the press, but the fans are going to be there. The excitement of that's going to be there. It's also going to be broadcasted, right? So when the reaction of the gamer is overly positive,
mm-hmm,
and this is kind of Microsoft's, I think, strategy to kind of force the media that what we can people call media, it forces them to either be exposed for the hypocrites they actually are, right?
mm-hmm,
Or get on board or lose out, right? So they're kind of forcing their hand a little bit by doing that, because if everyone in the audience is excited and everyone online is excited and people are talking on YouTube and all that sort of stuff, and you get some of the clickbait based stuff that we got after Eurogamer, right? Uh, Going out of their way to talk negative, people are just gonna just like, we're tired of you guys. We're done. They'll move on to other sources for their news, right? So that sort of thing, I think I think that's the game plan, what they're really trying to do. And you don't really need to spend much time on the hardware anymore, because the tech stuff, the stuff that takes all the time,
mm-hmm.
that's done. That we know what it is. The you can say the Xbox community's united, that we're all happy with the end results, and for the most part, like we got what we were promised, and this is how they did it, so it's no longer up for debate, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so we can move on to what games are going to hit those marks and stuff like that. And I think we're going to start hearing more and more of a list of that sort of stuff, and it can be tied directly to the game. So I don't look at it as a negative thing. they always have these strategies. They analyze all this sort of stuff. There's people to debate having their own private event. Some don't. But if they don't did a private event, what would you show? What would you show things from E3? You're taking away from E3, right? So you would have to show like older titles running at better resolutions and
Yeah,
all
and
that sort of
that
stuff.
would not go well at E3
No,
anyway.
yeah. So what would happen is if you just did that like in a previous event, then that just gives the media a chance to kind of hate on Microsoft because that generates clicks and things like that. So I think it's a very strategic move. I wouldn't read too much into if they had games or not have games. We'll see what ends up happening. I'm going to trust their track record.
Hmm.
I'm going to trust the execs. The fact that they're all uberly excited to talk about E3, but they still want to keep it a surprise for everybody. And in fact, the Mikey Barr has said games are coming. There's an event for that. He hinted at being E3, right?
Yeah.
So for what it's worth, we know for sure which games we're going to hit this year. The question is there any more going to hit this year, or is it going to be within that, with a year's time frame of E3? And we'll see. We'll see what's going on.
Besides the rumor of the Halo 3 anniversary, I feel like we already know what's coming out this year, and within my opinion, I feel like that's more than enough. Because when you put the multiplats in there, if they announce, well, you got the Assassin's Creed coming out, you got Battlefront. Like I said, for people who like it, Call of Duty. There's a bunch of multiplats coming out. Destiny 2 as well, and you put that all with the Sea of Thieves, the Crackdown, State of Decay 2, Cuphead, and stuff like that. Man, it's a lot to it's a lot of money right there to shell out for games. I think that's more than enough for the platform for this
I
year.
would I wouldn't be surprised if we get one or two almost heavy hitters. But that's just the rumor mill I'm hearing. I don't know if I 100% trust it.
Mm.
But it keeps coming up, so it is for what it is, and so we'll see what actually ends up being. And I think there's a reason why Phil's confident. It's not just the hardware. He knows there's more to it. He was part of the development side of studios before he got in charge of whole entire Xbox.
Mm.
So he likes hardware just like any one of us, but at the end of the day, he's excited about software. That's what he did
I got
for
you.
so long at Microsoft.
I got you. Well, me and Phil, like I've heard more kind of like personal stories about Phil. He's a really cool guy. I don't think me and him have the same taste in games a lot,
No.
but like I do love what he's doing with the Xbox division. And with this being stated that the Scorpio is going to be unveiled at E3, I'm thinking about it. And imagine if they open up E3 with showing what the Scorpio looks like, all right? And then when they go into the games, they're showing every single game running off Scorpio. And then at the end of the E3 is when they give the
Drop
price
the
point.
price. Yeah, if I mean, as Xbox fans, I think we all want to see a pile of mics just dropped on the floor
Uh-huh.
at the end of it. But I think that's how they would structure it. Very similar to how they laid out the Xbox One S and then announced the Scorpio
Scorpio at the end
as a
last year.
closure. Yeah, so I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna, they're not gonna spend much time. Here's what it looks like. Here's what it's called, right?
Uh-huh.
And and so when people are writing articles, you start getting articles written about what it's actually called, so what people know what to look for during the holiday season when they see all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then you drop the price, and I think a lot of people are thinking like New York on the media side of things when it comes to price and all that sort of stuff. But if they have that silver bullet that's lower, right,
Hmm.
then everyone's gonna lose their shit, right?
Yeah,
And you
no
Hell
can't,
yeah,
doubt.
and you
that's
can't,
what Sony did with the PS4, and I think they have the money. They can do that. They can make it $399, but it's a $599 console.
they they really could. In all honesty, with all the hardware that's out there, the direction they went and versus the other, I really think they could have got that $400 price tag with either one. The difference is with Ryzen and Vega, that moving target, what's going on there, it's a higher risk, right, to get
Mhm.
that price point that you're shooting for, right? And I think this was a lower risk for them to do because they have the means to do what they're able to do. Um,
I think they're absolute geniuses with what they have done with the CPU. When you're talking Jaguar cores and stuff like that, but when you look at it on paper, they don't even call it Jaguar cores. They've been
Microsoft doesn't even call it Jaguar. They did another Eurogame article today, and they actually express how, yes, we had to start somewhere. This is where we started, right? But where we ended was nothing like that. Like every single core, at the core level, everything has been tweaked. So, yeah, there's been some R&D that's been put in those chips.
nice.
It's pretty crazy. So.
Nice. Well, Newark, I wanted to get your thoughts about the unveiling, man. How do you feel about the Scorpio being unveiled at E3? Do you feel like there should have been a separate showcase? And after hearing what Don said about the media, knowing that the gaming media would have been the general audience in the showcase, like, did that like change your mind at all?
Nope. And I think they should unveil it at E3. They released the specs now. It's hashtag creative chatter once again. Um, like people don't understand that the Scorpio might have its own segment at E3. The unveiling probably is part of E3. It's probably going to be the E3, but it's probably going to be unveiling, but it's probably going to be all together. They having it a day earlier.
Mhm.
They take as much time they want to do whatever they want.
That is true. They can
You
take
know,
a longer amount of time with moving it to Sunday like that. That is a good point, man.
True. True.
All right. Well,
that's exactly how I feel.
all right. So, with that said and done, can Newark, can you see like when me and Don were talking about kind of like bookending the E3 showcase, like showing what the Scorpio looks like in the beginning, giving it its name and stuff, showing all the games that they're going to show, they're all running on Scorpio, and at the end, kind of like dropping the price point on it.
No, I think once they unveil it, they're gonna do the price drop.
Really? So what do you think would be kind of like? Because at the end, these companies they try to hit you at the end with something. What do you think they would hit you at the end with, man?
I mean, looking at the past E3s when they talked about all the slims, like they usually do the price point right after the segment of the console.
All right, I got you, man. But
Uh,
what do you think they're gonna slam home at the end of the show then?
what do you mean?
Like,
Like as
'cause
far as the price?
well, no. If you say like they're gonna say the price like after they unveil the what it looks like, the name and all that stuff, and then they're gonna do the price, and then I guess they'll go into games like that. Do you think they're gonna show it in the beginning and then go into games like?
I'm not sure. I honestly think that the whole slam home thing is will probably be the performance of the games. The game's gonna do the talking.
All
You
right.
know how usually at the end of E3, Microsoft will like, but there's just one more thing or something like that.
Yeah.
It's gonna be one of those. It's gonna be a game title that no one's expecting, and is probably gonna blow people away.
Nice, nice. See, that's what I was asking, man. I was just asking for your prediction, what you thought, and you definitely you hit a home run with that. Cause like as soon as you said that, I thought Perfect Dark. Like I thought like ending the show with like, oh yeah, by the way, Perfect Dark's back, and they do like this little thing to end the show with Perfect Dark. That would be insane, in my
I
opinion.
sent it Rome too. I swear I would.
Yes.
But you brought up earlier about the about game titles. I well, everything that's releasing this year was shown at E3 last year.
Yeah,
But they also showed titles that was revealed last year that came out last year. So I think we probably had one or two new titles that's shown that will actually come out this year. Same way how Dead Rising 4 came out.
I got you. I want to give a quick shout out to O Snaps. O Snaps, if you do want to chime in, if you do want to, you hear a topic you want to put your thoughts in and stuff like that, and it's not busy over there. I am watching the Hangout. There she is. Oh my goodness.
What?
No, no. I was just wondering if you,
Well,
if you
I can hear her now.
did you want to.
I gotta be quiet though.
All right, all right. On like the sneak here, like, do you want to? Is there anything you want to talk about with the unveiling of the Scorpio at E3? Do you think it's a good idea, or you think they should have done it at like its own showcase?
No, I'm gonna make this short and sweet. They should definitely do it at E3. They should have did it last year, but they just teased us. So now we've all been waiting for the next E3, and I don't want to see it before that.
Oh, so okay, so you don't want the separate showcase. You like it at
Yeah.
E3.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that's just my opinion though.
Nice. I mean, it's gonna be good for the live show for next. Like we're gonna be able to see it it live with everybody else, and I hope it makes people's jaws drop. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. It's going to make people's jaws drop. And if it doesn't, well, then fuck them.
All right. Just one more question, oh snaps. Like while we got you here, is there a concern with you that if they're showing hardware at E3, is there a concern that there's not enough games coming out? Like, because people have been saying that in social media and stuff like that, and I just want to get your opinion on it.
I mean, there's always going to be a concern for that. I have a concern for that, mostly because we haven't heard anything, but I also know that there's stuff that they're holding back.
Hmm.
So, I mean, there's going to be games throughout the year. I don't really need to have like a bunch of launch games like presented with the Scorpio because we're going to have games throughout the year. It's just they need to just bring more games in general.
Nice, nice.
But
Do you think
it's
like
not a major concern.
okay? Do you think with like Sea of Thieves, Crackdown, State of Decay, Cuphead, do you think there are enough kind of like Xbox exclusives this year, or do you think they should do more for this year?
I mean, you can't really, I don't know. Those are not like confirmed for this year,
They're
right?
they're not, but they
Yeah, exactly. They're not confirmed for this year. They definitely need to do more as far as exclusives go. But those aren't really confirmed, especially like Cuphead. I'm tired of hearing about Cuphead.
Me too.
Just saying. Um, but yeah, I would like to see more games exclusives for sure.
Nice, nice, awesome. Yo, this is crazy. Reporting live from the Cookie Peddler Central right now. This is awesome. All right. Well, I'm gonna move on to Foos, and like I said, if there's any topics you want to chime in on, and you have a minute or whatever, I'm watching the hangout. So if you unmute, I know that there's something you want to say. Okay.
For sure. I just found a really awesome thing at work, so I gotta go.
All right. No problem.
I'll be around, guys.
All right. All right, Foos. Unveiling. Is it good that it's at E3, or did you want its own separate showcase, man?
I think it's good that it's at E3. I think they're going to show some games that are running on it, so it'll go hand in hand. Now, do I think it was the right choice? It depends on who they worry about their audience is that's really caring about this. I know that if they were catering to the fanboys, yes, they would have a showing before, so they could just do straight games at E3.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't mind it. I think it's going to go hand in hand with how their show is going to be presented for the game. So
Nice, nice. Yeah, I think they modeled the show around. I feel like what me and the Don were talking about, where they show it in the beginning, then they show any games that they show afterwards or games running on Scorpio, and then at the end they kind of hit you with the price point. I like what Newark said, like hit that final hit having to be a new IP or something like that. But I feel like they modeled everything around the Scorpio, so even when they show the games, they're all going to be running on Scorpio, and I feel like they're going to drop that price point at the end. I could definitely see that happening,
Well,
man.
like you got that point where they get super impressed, like, oh, this thing's got to be expensive. It's got to be expensive, right?
mm-hmm.
That's how you shock them, right? You're just like, because it puts in that doubt, right? But you're able to address it all in one sitting, which I don't know. I think that's how they're going to do it. But, who knows? They're still debating it. They're practicing this stuff right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest though. Like I feel that it's a $500 console, but I think Phil Spencer about to slap the shit out of everybody. And he, I'm telling you, we talking about Phil, man. But who knows? It might come out at
I'm with you, though.
$499.
I say $499.
It's just too much tech. It's just.
Well, the original
they put in the
Xbox One when it
put
came
in the
out
solid
was
state drive. Yeah, they put in the solid state drive in the Xbox One and released it at $500.
Well, it was a hybrid. That was a hybrid drive. It was solid.
Yeah, but
state,
it was still a hard drive though.
Yeah. I see what you're saying, Newark, man. Like it's cool to hear like your enthusiasm, because like when you say the tech, it sounds like you're stepping back like, damn, the tech like is incredible, and it's
and
cool.
Then,
go ahead.
Yeah, anything the Surface team is attached to, man, them prices is insane, man.
I got
so
you.
Who knows? And it's gonna look like the dev kit without the buttons on the front.
Well, it's not.
because
It's not going to
just
have that LCD screen in it.
that. But the core console, if you look at all the Xbox dev kits was Xbox consoles with little add-ons. So and
Yeah.
then when you look at
It's
the
dope
unveiling
and
of
it's
the
slim.
yeah, when you look at the trailer of the Scorpio at the end when they fade out the picture of the Xbox standing up, it looked like the Slim, and the dev kit looked like the Slim.
Well, they
Watch,
said
that's
they
the console right there.
Newark. They said it's gonna look similar. It's gonna look like it's a part of the Xbox One family. So I believe it's gonna have similarities to the One S. But it's gonna still look like its own machine. I definitely believe that as well.
Yeah, the
I
dev kit without the buttons and the LCD screen with the vents in the back of the console, and
Well,
stuff like that.
it's going to have an additional vent system because I don't think they're going to just do it so you can lay it flat. I think they're going to also do a horizontal option as well. And the problem is when you do
Yeah,
a horizontal, you block all the vents. The intake vents are on the side
mm.
where the power button is. So if you do that, so you have to do some sort of venting either underneath the console or on top. So when you flip it, it has air can be coming in through that
yeah.
area.
Well, it was already said that the vents won't be on top, and especially not on top of the dev kits, so they can stack it. But the
Yeah.
vents are in the back of the console.
Well, that
Not
whole
only
Reminds
that
me of the
though,
360 days. Jesus
the
Christ.
whole dev kit layout thing was specifically designed for developers. So, you're not gonna, no one's gonna take their console and stack six of them on top of one another, right? I mean, no one's
I
gonna.
mean, people do that anyway. You know, people stack their Blu-ray cases and everything over the vents.
Oh
So
man,
your shit about to
freaking the
overheat.
our 9-year-old twins just got the Xbox One for this past gift day, and I already caught them twice putting stuff like on top of the X1. I grabbed it, I looked at it, I was like, you cannot do that. You see these holes right here? They cannot be covered by anything.
You
But
teach him Xbot.
yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying, man. I'm trying. But Invader, what do you think about them? When it comes to the conference, what do you think about them? Kind of like unveiling with what the Scorpio looks like and stuff, doing games in the middle, and then at the end dropping the price point. Does that sound like something reasonable? Something you would want to see at E3, man?
Yeah, no, yeah, I think it would make sense. I got a feeling that there's gonna be some kind of bomb dropped. I don't know what the heck it is. I just got in my gut feeling that like they got some kind of a card in play that we're just gonna be like, wow, they did that. I have no idea what it is though.
I think that bomb that you're talking about, like a Fable reboot with everything that happened with Lionhead Studios and Fable Legends and everything like that. I could see that bomb being like, oh yeah, by the way, Fable, like, you know what I'm saying, doing it again type thing. That would be huge
That
for
bomb
me.
might be that 399 though. That might be the bomb.
It could,
Who knows?
or maybe they could
that
even
would be great.
restructure Xbox Live for all we know.
Oh, thank you, Invader. You are one of the few I've talked to. You're talking like the silver, gold, platinum, like free multiplayer stuff like that
Well, yeah, there's been rumors about that for
for a while.
we're going back a while, but like that would be interesting. And then you would think that they would reserve like in the recent news for because you know how they did like the refunds recently, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I know we're gonna talk about that
but
soon,
yeah,
but
we're
it's
actually
like
gonna get into that too, man.
but no, I'm just saying you think that'd be something that they would hold on to for E3, but no, that just kind of suddenly popped up. So it's like, well, I wonder what they have in store for E3, if anything, software wise.
I got you, man. It's just crazy. This whole generation, we've dealt with stuff we've never really dealt with before, in consoles, and in terms of like this generation, we're really going forth with like digital content, digital games, stuff like that. There's this whole resolution war which we've never really dealt with, and companies talking about ends to like the generations, and just coming out with like more powerful iterations of the hardware we have. There's just a lot of stuff that we've never, as console gamers, we've never really dealt with before. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So,
Well, we're in brand new territory here.
oh yeah, definitely, definitely. And it's funny to see like kind of like the gaming masses, how they accept it or they reject it, and stuff like that. So I do want to jump into the next topic, which is Resolution Gate. For the first 3 years, people who prefer the Xbox brand, people who play on Xbox One, if they're a part of social media, has dealt with a barrage of, well, your console is the weaker console. Oh, your console is only doing 900p. All this and that. It's just a bunch of stupidity out there that Xbox One owners had to deal with. And now with the unveiling of the Scorpio and the Scorpio being able to do native 4K 60 frames per second, um ultra settings, quote unquote ultra settings, in terms of better textures, lighting, shadows, stuff like that. It seems like the tide has turned. But I want to ask you guys, and I'm gonna start with Foos on this. When it comes to the resolution gate, do you feel it's fair that the Xbox One owners are kind of flipping this whole thing around and now are pointing at the Sony guys saying, well, your console's the weaker console when you talk about the Pro. It's upscaling to 4K and stuff like that. When we've dealt with it for the first 3 years, and we kind of let them know it's not really about the power, it's about the games, and it's about the game development. How do you feel about like this kind of like resolution gate like flip flop, man? Do you think it's justified, or do you think it's basically hypocritical, man?
Oh, it's very hypocritical. I do think it was justified for maybe the first day, kind of like a 90/90 boo boo, you got it and you don't. But yeah, it's definitely hypocritical. We all know, at least the smart ones of us, we all know that resolution is not graphics, even though it does have a part in it. Um, it doesn't make the game any better. As long as the gameplay is good, the 4K is not going to do anything different for you. Um, yeah, it's something that we shouldn't be flip flopping on like that, like what you said, and don't really use it as a ammo
Uh huh.
because we went through that for 3 years and knew that they were wrong. So we can't go and do that same thing to them, knowing that we would be the wrong ones. So yeah,
I
that's pretty hypocritical.
I got you. Now, see, with you saying overall resolution, native resolution it's not the end all be all in terms of graphics. There's something called graphical fidelity, textures. I've been saying this on whatever live show I can. The textures, the lighting, the shadows, and stuff like that. So,
Right.
um, with that being said, like I see a lot of people touting that whole 4K thing, and I know 4K is huge. It is a huge step up from the 1080p and stuff like that. Do you feel like there are other features that we can kind of promote more than that native 4K, man? And like, what do you think the features that we should talk about are?
Yeah, I think we should be talking more about the fact that we can upload and have our content done with the 4K
That
is
that is
pretty
huge.
awesome.
That is huge, and I know
Yeah,
Invader. I know Invader likes that too, man.
yeah.
Oh, you're damn right.
I mean, we should all just be happy, honestly, because Microsoft is pushing 4K as heavily as it is, and it's really going to push the industry and other industries that use this resolution it forward. We all got the TVs now. The TVs are getting cheap. If you don't have one, it's not hard to get one. You don't have to make a lot of money to do it
I
anymore.
don't have one.
Um,
Someone got to buy me one.
well, I mean, you can if you're not looking for HDR and things like that. If you just want 4K, which is perfectly fine, you can get one at Walmart for a couple $100. Nice size too. I just picked up one, the Vizio, and it doesn't have HDR or anything, but it's 4K and it's going to do what I need, to see the higher resolution bump. So
Okay. Oh,
that's what I'm pretty excited about. They're really going to push the industry forward. They seem to be good at doing that. So
nice, nice. Now I heard O Snaps chime in. I don't know if O Snaps. Do you want to talk about this whole resolution gate and how?
Nope.
No, you don't. You don't want to talk about like the flip flop if you feel it's justified that Xbox dudes will now go out and talk about the 4K and stuff compared to like the ponies with the 1080p for the first 3 years.
You know, I gotta say, I don't really care too much for that. I just enjoy the games that I have, and that's all. Like, it doesn't bother me, like, the whole resolution bullshit. Everybody's gonna argue. They're gonna keep finding reasons to go back and forth about whatever they can just to keep the console war going. So I'm not gonna keep it going. I'm gonna stop it right there.
Nice, nice. Don't feed into it. Don't continue that circle.
Fuck
You
'em.
you just kind of cut it off and say, you know what? It's about the games. It's always been about the games, right?
Absolutely.
Nice, nice. I like that ideology. I like that way of thinking. Um, Yo, Invader, what do you think when it comes to this resolution gate? Have you seen kind of like the turnaround now where like Xbox dudes are talking 4K, saying how the Pro is the weaker system and stuff? And how do you feel about that? Is it justified in your opinion, man?
Well, it just it's been really interesting. It's been a really interesting situation to be in as an Xbox fan now, especially with the position that we've been in since the start of this generation of consoles. So, for myself, I'm not really the type to rub it in, and I would never throw the whole resolution thing into someone's face.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, it is fun to like, yeah, it's kind of fun to, poke with everybody now and then, whatever. But I do think that it is hypocritical when people just talk about the graphics, the resolution, um, and hey, Sony's the one with the huge console sold advantage right now at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but while saying that, it's nice to see Microsoft just wanting to make a statement and be this giant of a company that they are. As an Xbox fan, I think it's pretty awesome that they're trying to get back into being competitive with the hardware again.
Mm-hmm.
And coming from a guy who got his Xbox One day one, I've been really happy with the original one since I got it launch day. I've enjoyed like all the experiences of the games that we've had, but for me, I'm excited to see what like the Scorpio can do for games moving forward and the kinds of experiences that we'll be getting the games. So yeah, I do think it is hypocritical for people to suddenly be talking about the resolution when it just should be the games and the
Nice.
features too.
Nice. Yeah, definitely the features. Like we already said it real quick, but the being able to capture gameplay at pretty much its highest resolution, 60 frames per second and stuff like that. That means a lot to me, and I think Invader as well because
Mhm.
you use like Upload Studio, grab gameplay and stuff like that as well, right, for your channel.
Oh yeah, I mean that's how I started out. That's how I've been like doing it the entire time so far. It's really convenient, and if they can do it at a higher quality, that's just even better. Who knows? Maybe I mean they'll probably like update Upload Studio as well. So I can only imagine
Yes,
what they'll have to
please.
offer.
Yeah, dude, I want that so bad. Like ever since we got the PS4 in the house, I kind of
Hmm.
like I've messed around with Share Factory, right? And Share Factory
Hmm.
can be a little confusing. Like it's kind of modeled
Tony.
after Sony Vegas. So like I'm not too familiar with Vegas. I'm still kind of learning it. So it could be a little confusing, but the options and the stuff you could do in Share Factory, like I want Xbox to kind of like update Upload Studio and to give you more options on stuff you could do with your gameplay, man. That is a big thing I'm asking for.
Well, yeah, I mean I'd hope that they can deliver with Upload Studio and with the supposed new the game DVR, the confirmed 4K 60 frames. Like that is huge. You don't have to go out buy this expensive capture card. Everything's included in the system.
Nice, nice. Now, shout out to Noble Addiction. He basically said capturing gameplay and uploading it in 4K won't do anyone any good, if your audience doesn't have a 4K screen. And it's something to think about. That is definitely something to think about, Noble. The 60 frames per second, though, because I do know
Hmm.
YouTube does support 60 frames per second. It's just gonna have your gameplay running so much smoother, like being so much more fluid.
Like that, the whole statement's actually incorrect, actually, because when you have a higher quality image and you downsample to a lower quality image,
Exactly.
you get a better quality regardless. So,
Yeah.
and not to call out Noble because he definitely shows up here on the regular. It does a lot of good actually, because anytime your source image is always better and then you downsample, you get a better quality image. So,
For
it's
example, if you want, go on your 1080p TV to a 4K YouTube video, and I guarantee you that picture look crisp as shit.
absolutely.
I got you. Now, Yo, Newark, what do you think about this whole? And I know this is a topic you might have been waiting for here, so I hope I'm serving it up on a silver platter. What do you think about this whole kind of like resolution gate and how it's turned around and now it's like Xbox dudes chasing those ponies, talking to them about their less powerful console and about native resolution. How do you feel about that, man?
Well, how like just like I stated earlier, that happened in the beginning of the generation was we was getting the inferior, ports of the games or whatever, and dudes were rubbing in our faces. Like we would easily get triggered, and we hated them for certain things. Now we became what we hated. You know what I'm saying? We're the new ponies now, and it's crazy. Including myself because I'm not, it's good to have the options, and then the game companies themselves are adding fuel to the fire. Like the Scorpio is boost mode, like stuff like that. But they did it on the PlayStation side where it says 1080p make you a better gamer and so forth and so on or whatever. But bullshit, man. Back in the day, and now we became what we hated, and this shit is crazy. And I think, well, the next PlayStation that's gonna come out probably come out the same time as the next Xbox. But even if PlayStation the Scorpion is still around, and you know PS5 be more, it's gonna be ongoing. It's gonna be like a pattern all over again. But we became what we hate,
I got you.
and it's
So
bullshit.
you're basically saying with the resolution gate and the console war that basically, all right, now we got the Scorpio, Xbox gamers, have the more powerful system, and then down the line, if the PlayStation 5 comes out, and I say if because Yoshida said there is no guarantee about the PlayStation
Yeah,
5.
exactly.
All right, I think it's gonna come out now though. Like I think with everything that's coming with everything that's happened this generation, I do believe a PS5 is gonna come out. I actually feel like it's gonna come out between 2019 and 2020. And with that being said, like they could use the newer technology, like the Ryzen CPU, Vega GPU, or even the Navi GPU for people who follow kind of like AMD and what they want to do with GPU architecture. There's actually a step above Vega, and it's called Navi, and they're gonna unveil that within the next couple of years as well. So with that
Oh,
being said, like there's this ongoing circle. So Newark, how are you gonna like move forward, man? Are you gonna do kind of like what O Snaps has done and said, you know what, it's about the games. It's gonna always be about the games. Like screw this whole native resolution BS. Are you gonna kind of cut yourself out of that circle, or
well, I've done it. These gaming groups, and you'll see some of my rant and tweets sometimes. I've totally left the whole console war. I'll tweet some things sometimes, like about the Scorpio and PS4 Pro, this, that, and thing. But like I've got away from the whole the console war thing. Sometimes it's fun, but you got people who troll like if they sit there and do this shit all day, every day, and brag about the same exact thing. So and then just to say something else, Microsoft and Sony, like they're not enemies. They know what they're doing. These consoles going to come out at the same time all the time. The Scorpio was supposed to came out last year with the PS4 Pro, but Microsoft Vision they couldn't release it last year. Neo or the Scorpio, you know what I'm saying? And then they both happen to come out around the same time frame. They both was being worked on. That they know these companies know what they're doing.
so basically,
So
if I could use kind of like an analogy, you're kind of like these companies are kind of like WWE wrestlers. You know what I'm saying? Where they come out and they kind of might like poke and jab at the other, but when they go behind closed doors, they're shaking hands and drinking beer together, and it's
yeah,
all right. I got you, man. I
because
got you.
it starts a war online, and they get our money, and we do their promotion. So
That
That's
is
a
that's
true.
good. That's a good thought, Newark.
so we promote these consoles. They ain't got to spend money on nothing. Look back then when Times Square, when Halo came out, and like all this stuff came out, and they had big events. People don't hardly do promotion no more, and we sit online all day, back and forth, and making YouTube videos and podcasts, and I'm telling you, we doing their work for them.
I
That's basically what it is.
I could definitely see that now. Like when it comes to this whole thing, I am proud to promote Scorpio just for the fact of what these hardware developers have done. All right, what they did with the CPU, GPU, what they did with the yo Don, what is the piece in between the two? Is it like a command module or something? What is the name where the DX12 is baked
It's
in?
the GPU controller.
GPU controller, like the stuff that they have done with this thing on the tech side of it. Because people who know me, I'm not a professional, but I'm into tech stuff. You know what I'm saying? I have no problem talking about like the benefits of this, as well as if like something happened with the PS4 that like I was impressed by. You know what I'm saying? I have no problem talking about
Yeah.
that either. Now, the thing about the PS4 Pro that I don't like is when you look at the game analysis, all right? And this is one of the reasons why I'm happy we have kind of like the original PS4 in this house. Like, to get that kind of like upgrade in resolution, it seems like a lot of the games sacrificed in like performance, frame rates, and stuff like that. And I'd rather have the smoother frame rates and stuff than to have like a higher native resolution. And that's my biggest thing with the PS4 Pro. That's why I call it a cash grab, because for the most part you're sacrificing performance just to get a higher resolution, and I don't like
Well,
that.
I,
that's a
I got a
proven
question for
strength.
Don.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Hey
Sorry.
Don. I was watching this. I forget the YouTube channel, but it was a tech dude or whatever, and he was saying the equivalent PC that match Scorpio's will be like a 9 teraflop PC or something like that. Like a PC would
Well,
have to be 9 teraflops
that's
to
not a
match
that's not a realistic parallel, because a teraflop stands for a certain amount of calculations per second.
per second. Yeah,
Yeah, so now you can gain efficiencies with newer tech and stuff like that. So there's probably some gains with the Scorpio's GPU and how they have it set up and stuff like that. But that it still only means so many calculations per second. So how you measure
yeah,
a teraflop, that doesn't change. So I always see people say stuff like that, and I just don't feel like it's a good leg to stand on, because it just projects the same thing we're talking about. We're talking about people, kind of want to butt heads, but there is a 30% gain in efficiency when you go to a closed box. So that's a kind of a bare minimum. So like the test the Digital Foundry has run, and I still don't like those guys. Just so you guys know, I
Richard, I'm sorry,
still
I
don't
had to.
like Richard. But the test that they did right on available Apex software that's available to the PC, maxing everything out, trying to duplicate what they saw at closed doors at Microsoft. It fell between the GTX 1070 and 1080, so it didn't reach what a 1080 can do, but definitely outperformed what a 1070 can do. But it's all subjective, because like how do you draw a parallel CPU or these other things the Digital Foundry does to do these sort of tests, right? So it's strange to me that people try to compare and try to blow things out of proportion. There is efficiency gains with going to closed box. It is a 60 flop machine. Let's call it what it is, and let's not like buff it up more than what it actually is. And honestly, a lot of the people have been conservative. It's actually outperformed a lot of people's expectations, even developers. So that's something to take home.
Yeah, that's one thing with the Scorpio. A lot of developers are coming out and saying that like developing on this thing is really easy. You look at Turn 10, which they are they are kind of like in the know when it comes to the hardware and hardware development. But I believe they had the Forza Motorsport 6 running 4K 60 frames per second in like what 2 days on the Scorpio.
Yeah,
it said
That's
some devs even got games ported in like a day. That
yeah,
was crazy.
and then they don't want to be even called out on it. They want to keep all that secret. A lot of developers don't even want to be knowing that, because that kind of it crosses weird lines with say Sony. They don't want to piss off Sony and all that sort of stuff.
oh
So
goodness.
yeah, so it goes both ways. I mean, devs walk a fine line when they have partners like Sony and Microsoft. They try not to piss off either one of them.
Well, they
Some
only seem to like to take shots at Microsoft these days.
Well, not really. It's the nobodies, right, that do all that sort of stuff, right? I
Oh
mean,
yeah, I meant like indies, for example, like I'm sure you saw the Chinese room yesterday.
but yeah, but indies don't have a boss, right? So they're a little
Yeah.
bit they're a little bit untethered, right? So they'll take shots and all the time, regardless of what the platform is, and they have a bias because usually their team is like 5 people, right? So obviously indies always have their own individual culture. So it just is what it is on that. But on the resolution thing, like I'm glad you guys are talking about this because it's always really bugged me that we're on this whole, prior to the mid-gen releases, that we're even talking about resolution because at the end of the day, that's not the defining character that makes the game look better. It's a small part of it, right?
hmm
It is a part of it. You can't ignore it. It is a part of it, but it's such a small
it's
attribute.
been yo Don, it's been ballooned out of proportion. Like I remember when this whole first thing started, a lot of the devs were coming out and saying, why do you guys care so much about overall like the native resolution? That is the last thing we think about when making a game.
Oh, exactly. They balance the game to make it look as best as they possibly can, right? Going forward, developers wanted more higher native resolution because that's what their customers are looking at. That's what the marketing teams are looking at, right?
hmm
So, a lot of this kind of "I heard you" console thing, it comes from not only the consumers, but it also comes from the developers wanting to be able to hit that 4K mark, be able to market their own individual game. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But at the end of the day, is the people that care about 4K or the people that care about this, they can buy the hardware that hits the marks that they're looking for. And I'm in a different boat than bought on the PS4 Pro. I think that machine is very capable. They're making some bad choices on how they're optimizing it. A lot of people are, but
hmm
they'll figure that stuff out. The APIs will mature. The developers will have more time to work on that hardware. Now that's it's been out almost a year. Come this holiday season, right? And you'll see big improvements on the Pro. I don't think they'll hit what Scorpio's targeting, but they'll see an improvement. And at the end of the day, people say graphics doesn't matter in games. It absolutely does. People can argue graphics don't matter all day long until they're blue in the face, but that's why we have generation from generation versus hardware.
hmm
That is the main drive that kind of pushes that. And I honestly feel there's a long ways to go. And what's cool is these iterative hardware allows our base system. Say you're not going to upgrade, right? Say you want to live, on a standard Xbox or a standard PS4. Guess what? Now that machine is untethered from the whole resolution argument, right? Because it's just the base console. So they're able to put those resources into other stuff like ambient occlusion, better texture resolutions, start working on tile resources, on which both systems can do. All these other things that will make our games look so much better if we just stop arguing about the actual pixel fill rate of the screen, right? So
Thank you.
so so this
Better
to me,
animations.
yeah, this to me, like this iterative hardware is a godsend because for people that care about that stuff, they can buy that hardware, right?
hmm
For the people that don't care about that stuff, they're going to get better looking games on their existing hardware because they don't care about the actual pixels. They just care what they can see on the screen, right?
hmm
And what they can notice. And yes, I mean, the higher the pixel fill rate, it can look sharper and it can look cleaner, right? But at the end of the day, that's not the
But
only
if you
thing.
have muddy textures, then you're only seeing the muddiness a little bit clearer.
Exactly. I mean, I did a video on my channel talking about
That,
how
that
we
got
should,
some views too, man. That
yeah,
one.
talking about how we shouldn't worry about these scale consoles, one holding back the other or vice versa, right? Because it really has to do with the graphical assets and how you scale it down. In the character I did, it was above 8K on textures. Just I want everyone to think about that's the original art asset.
hmm
The actual head was over close to a million polygons,
Damn.
and I reduced it down to I think 3,000. Right,
Uh huh.
so it gives you an idea. That's the original art asset, and how I want to scale it, depending on available hardware, those people get the benefit from that.
Those are some
But
happy little polygons.
yes, yes they are. So, but that gives you, I mean, that gives you people an idea. So, and then on the other argument of native resolution is, you know, there are certain benchmarks that people see the differences, right? You know, regardless of how people are rubbing it in people's face, if someone says they can see between 900 that versus 1080, I'm going to take their word for it. Because at the end of the day, there's no way to prove that person wrong, right? Same thing with some people that can't tell the difference between 720 versus 1080. There's probably some truth to that. Some people can't see that difference, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what you got to keep in mind is television manufacturers choose particular resolutions for their televisions for a reason, right? Because those are the biggest net they can cast when they make a product that everyone, for the most part, can see some sort of difference, right? So there's a reason why they went from 720 to 1080p, because most people can notice it. Some people it bothered them, some people it didn't. It is what it is, right?
Mm.
There's a reason why we're going from 1080 not to 2K. We skipped 2K entirely.
Yeah,
There's a
we did.
reason. There's a reason why we're going to 4K, because that's where it becomes substantially noticeable when everybody walks by that screen. They can see the actual difference. Same thing with HDR. They did a big jump of color from what your standard television to what HDR is, right? Why didn't they do an intermediate one? Because it wasn't noticeable. As far as that goes, to everybody.
Yeah,
So
to a wider range of people is what you're saying.
exactly. And so, people just kind of need to slow down, take a look at something, take a look at a game, and see if they notice it. As a customer, you look at that and say, does that matter to me, or do I not care? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Stop letting other people dictate your purchases. These are your purchases. These are your experiences. You decide what you want out of your experience at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's my rant. But that's kind of how I look at all this sort of stuff. Is there are differences, but the question is, do those differences make enough difference for you to buy something or not?
Well,
That's for the consumer to decide.
Well, see, the thing is when it comes to Resolution Gate, like I can see the huge step from HD to 4K, and I can see 4K, becoming the mainstream in the very near future and stuff like that. But when it comes to gaming, I'm gonna have to say, and I've said it all along. I've said it at the from the time I started my YouTube channel, that it's not about the native resolution, but you want to look at the graphics, you want to look at the textures and stuff like that. I have been completely happy with the games that have come out on the Xbox One. I have had a ton of fun. I have had jaw-dropping moments. I mean, just look at Gears 4 and what that looks like. Just look at Halo, which I'm watching my gameplay right now, which is very, very good gameplay, I might say. But like I've had
Sunset Overdrive even.
Sunset Overdrive, just the color palette and the gameplay and everything with Sunset Overdrive. Sunset Overdrive is a great title. I feel like we fed into something that is actually complete BS when it comes to overall resolution. And for anybody who goes out there and does the research, yes, native resolution does show a crisper image, but it's only a small part in game development when it comes to the aesthetics, when it comes to the way the games look. And you got to look at more than just the native resolution. And when you do that, like when you actually move beyond the whole, well, is it 1080p or like, cuz I remember before this kind of like mid-gen refresh, new games would be shown and stuff like that, and first thing people would say is, well, I don't know if it's good. What's the native resolution? Like, that's how bad it got. And I don't want to see the gaming community fall down that hole. Because like Don said, and he's a developer, he's an up and coming developer. I think just about everybody else on the panel here, has kind of like that same agreement. It's a very small part to what the game looks like. And look at the game as a whole. Look at the gameplay is probably the most important. You know what I'm saying? The performance and the gameplay. And then you look into the graphical fidelity and everything afterwards. But I just hope we don't fall into that hole and keep on getting deeper and deeper when it comes to native resolution,
I think sorry.
Well, go ahead, Invader.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Invader. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, sorry. I just want to chime in and say, I remember in 2013 when they were like showing off all the games. I was just blown away by like, damn, that looks like so much fun, or that looks interesting, instead of just like pixel counting.
Yeah, exactly. And all of a sudden, because I mean, let's be honest here. Like, there's one thing I'm gonna tell the truth on my YouTube channel. So when I see anti-consumer practices, or when I see like dirty advertising tactics or anything like that, I'm gonna state it. I'm gonna talk about it. I'm gonna make videos about it, regardless of who the company is. And when it came to the overall resolution thing, that was something that Sony started. Sony saw that, Microsoft really stumbled out of the gate with talking about the Xbox One. They saw something that they were able to do with having, the devs. It was easier to develop a game on the PS4 at that point in time. The development tools on the Xbox One were very like premature. They weren't well developed and stuff like that. I mean,
Hmm.
Phil Spencer's come out and said this. All right, and to see where Xbox has gone from there till now, they have done an absolutely incredible job, and I've enjoyed experiences since 2013 to this day. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I This is just one of those things that people. I think people feel a little hurt, right? And I think there's a little bit of revenge. I think built inherent into people. Like I've never really participated, with people like spamming me or giving me really a hard time or anything like that. But I know a lot of people in the Xbox community have had to deal with that, right? Because they waved that Xbox flag and therefore they became that martyr, right?
Mm-hmm.
In regards to that. So, I see where they're coming from. Like, they're gonna do what they're gonna do. They're adults and they're independent people, so you can't really control people, right? But at the end of the day, I know what the resolution. I know what resolution is. It's just one way to make an image a little sharper and a little bit cleaner. And I'm a graphics guy, and resolution matters. It's the bottom tier
Yeah,
on visuals for me.
yeah.
Like, just so you guys know, when I make my game, the last thing I'm refining, is the resolution. At the
It,
end of the day,
that's the
you
way
know,
game development has been for a while,
Hmm.
and
absolutely.
like to see that narrative pushed and that category of native resolution like pushed to a higher scale. Let the developers do what they're doing. Let them make the art and the entertainment that they want to make, and let them make the best possible experience regardless of what that overall native resolution is.
Yeah, I mean, exactly, and I think developers, you give them fixed hardware, and they really, realistically, let's be honest, they have 4 platforms they have to develop for. It's gonna be Scorpio, Xbox, PlayStation, and PlayStation 4. That's not a whole lot. That's not like doing a tons of different graphic cards, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for them, they're gonna be able to get the most out of that, and the best way for them to get the most out of that is for us, I think, as gamers, to back off the resolution talk. Let the developer do what they need to do. And at the end of the day, you're going to get the best looking game, regardless of how powerful the hardware is and what you want to invest in, what ecosystem you want to invest in. That's what really matters.
Nice, nice. So, I think we've basically all went through the whole resolution gate. That's one thing I love about this show is like we will tackle the hard questions, the hard topics. We won't just kind of move around them and stuff like that. I think we have a great panel here. I believe we had a great guest for this episode to be able to talk about that as well. So, Invader, thank you for touching on that subject, because I know it's a subject like not a lot of people really want to get into. You know what I'm saying? And I really appreciate that, man.
Oh yeah, no problem. It just, it's about being honest, guys, and no, I have no problem talking about it whatsoever. I like being real with people, and
Hmm.
hey, you're a great group of guys to talk to.
Nice, beautiful. Well, with that being said, we are almost out of time, and I do want to get into something. We didn't talk about the FreeSync and the HDMI 2.1. I think we're gonna maybe leave that for a later date if it comes back. I do want to talk about the trailer for Star Wars Battlefront 2. Did you guys, everybody on here see
Can
the
we
trailer?
not? Can we just not talk about that?
Why? Why? Are you a Star Wars hater, oh snaps?
Yep.
What?
No.
Any reason why or?
No, I just don't
You don't
like
like
it.
you don't like laser swords and stuff like that? Like it's not.
Blasphemy.
The laser swords are cool. Some of the stuff is cool, and that, no. Actually, I've never given it the time of day, so.
Well,
Well, I think we know who's with the dark side of the force.
I shouldn't be so biased against it since I've never really paid much attention to it.
Well, the first Battlefront that came out, kind of like the reboot by EA and Dice, it was a multiplayer only type experience. Which we've seen a lot of this generation. But with Battlefront 2, it looks like they're going back. They're putting a single player in, and that's pretty much what the trailer was, right, guys? That's pretty much there were. I remember seeing the
Well,
Death Star blowing up and stuff. Anybody kind of want to run down the trailer at all, like the high points, low points? Invader, you are selected, man. What?
okay, well, I mean, the thing is, there was a few things. Yeah, they go into like they start off immediately with like they're talking about the single player.
Mhm.
Finally, they have a single player in Battlefront now, and it looks pretty cool. They seem to have a like it's centered around a female character, and you're gonna be able to go through all the eras from the looks of it as well, not just like the current era. You can play in like the original trilogy,
Mhm.
the prequel trilogy,
Which
and
everybody
just like
loves. Everybody loves the prequels, by the way. Go ahead.
actually I like them, but
I did too, man. I did too. But there's a lot of shit. The whole Jar Jar thing and stuff like that.
well, yeah,
Yo,
yeah.
the original or those were so bad. I'm sorry. They were so bad.
Xbox kind of reminds me of Jar Jar.
What?
Do you think with big fluffy ears?
Yeah, I do have big ears, man. Oh my goodness.
Misa.
But yeah, go ahead, Invader. So you said you could play through every era. I'm pretty sure that's probably not the single player though, right?
Oh yeah, sorry, not the single player from the looks of it. The single player seems to focus on like just the events after
Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi from the looks of it. But the multiplayer, yeah, the multiplayer seems to span through like everything.
Mhm.
And not only that, like space battles are back. It looks like there's gonna be some kind of there's a whole bunch of stuff that they went through. I saw like like there's a snow scene, and then you got like tauntauns, like those the creatures on Hoth. It looks like you can ride them. They showed a whole bunch of different stuff.
Well, all right. Well, with all that said and done, man, after seeing the trailer, what do you think? Are you hyped for this? Do you think this is the Battlefront that should have been in the first iteration, man?
I'm cautiously optimistic because they let a lot of people down with the original game, especially with like the whole season pass thing too.
Mm-hmm.
Which it doesn't look like there's gonna be a season pass if I read it correctly.
Yeah,
So-
it's not gonna be one.
Yeah. So I like what they've showed off so far. I can't wait to see like actual gameplay. Like I want to see more. I'm definitely interested.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I'm just gonna reserve my judgment until I see more though.
I got you, man. I have to say, personally, like, from what I saw of the trailer, I didn't get a chance to see the complete trailer, unfortunately, but, like, I saw most of the beginning and then just kind of bits and pieces off the end. I am actually excited for this. This looks like a Star Wars game that I have been waiting for. The single player looks interesting. The female protagonist, which, I mean, she's on the dark side of the, But just to see her when the Death Star blew up and she was like, basically they were like, well, what are we gonna do now and stuff. It sparked my interest, and then to see the multiplayer, to see like the kind of like aerial fights, but in the cities and stuff, having to deal with like the city skyline and stuff like that. It looks really interesting to me. Like you said, being able to ride on the tauntauns, like there's just so much there. There's so much Star Wars there. I can understand being cautiously optimistic, but I'm gonna throw myself in, like, on the hype train. I am hyped for this. I don't know, yo, Foos, what do you think, man? Did you see the trailer, and are you hyped now, or what do you think, dude?
I don't know if I saw the right trailer. Was there only one, or Did they
There
bring
was a
out more?
teaser
Cause I
yesterday, and then there was
okay,
an
There was
official
something
one today.
released that was expanded.
okay. I think I seen the teaser,
Oh,
so I didn't
nice.
get to see much of it. Yeah, I didn't know it was that
The
much that
same
they
here.
showed. But what
Oh,
I saw, space battles. I seen them flying up and doing their thing. So that looked interesting. And I don't know. It does. If they can bring back the old feel of the old Star Wars Battlefront, yeah, I'm gonna be super excited. But I think I'm with Invader. I'm gonna be cautious. I don't know. It's EA.
I think Invader left that like easy door to go through for everybody on the panel, man. Like, yeah, I'm gonna be
Well,
cautiously optimistic here.
it's true though.
No, it makes total sense. There was a lot of people that were disappointed with the first Battlefront. I believe the first Battlefront when it launched sold well, but then people realized what it really was because the casual gaming market is the bigger market, as opposed to the hardcore. The hardcore was looking into it more, um, but the casuals don't really look into it. They see Star Wars, they see new game, they see launch, they pick it up, and I think it disappointed a lot of people. Yo, Newark, man, you said you only saw the teaser, but like from what you heard from me, Invader, and everything like that, does this sound like a Star Wars game that you would be interested in, man?
I'm not a Star Wars type dude. I criticized the first game. Well, the first one, what was that, released last year?
Uh,
And
2 years ago.
2 years, 2 years. My bad.
it was 2 years already.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I played the 10 hours from the EA Access, and it was all right to me. And I won the game with the season pass from Free Code Friday from Major Nelson.
Well, I'm glad you won
I,
something because I
yeah,
never win anything
Oh
there.
I
damn,
don't ever
nice.
win. Damn.
I won that with the season pass in WWE, and I never downloaded it. But then, off topic, I get 2K, 2K basketball and the wrestling games for some reason every like 17 and stuff like that. Like they're free. They're free for me. I don't know why, but anyway, I'm interested in the interested in part two because of the campaign. But then you got to think about EA, king of campaign screw up. So I don't know.
Ooh.
They don't make good
Yes.
campaigns to me.
I feel like their campaigns can be very similar to how like they did the last Battlefield, where they just kind of break it up in different types of chunks. So like just little mini campaigns
But
throughout the
Hmm.
whole thing. That's the
And then it was
impression.
criticized for the other
Hmm.
Battlefield campaign. So
Yeah,
I
that's the
don't know.
impression I'm getting. I don't know.
well, Don,
But EA Access will do it for me. I'll make my judgment after that.
yeah, and see that's the cool thing about it being EA, and I was actually going to talk about that as well. But Don, with what you said with the single player in terms of like what happened with Battlefield 1 where there was like little mini campaigns and stuff like that, do you think that would be a good or a bad thing? Because that was kind of like that was heavily scrutinized after a while, like a little while after launch. People at first are like, "Yeah, this is really cool" and stuff like that, and then a couple weeks later, they're like, "Well, it wasn't really like." I guess you could say there was no replay value to the single player campaigns, those mini ones. Do you think it's a good or a bad thing if they go that way, man?
I don't know. I mean, I'm a big fan of let the developer do what they think is best. That's their job to kind of, at a certain point, you definitely want to listen to your consumers, but at the same point, you are the guy that's working, tooth and nail every day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have to kind of do what you think is going to be best for the game that you're doing. And as long as you're customer facing first, where you just want to take care of the customer to your best of your abilities. I think good products come from that and derivative from that. So if they want to do a breakup style, that's up to them. I think that's the best way to kind of deal with all the different time frames that we're dealing with on that. Or if they want to divide it into three different like little campaigns where you have the different eras, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have the prequels, the middle section, and what we're going into now. I mean, I think all that stuff would be great. At the end of the day, I'm a big fan of Star Wars, and I'll say the same thing I said to my friends at EA when they asked me what I thought about the game. I said, you know, you're gonna have to win back your customers because at the end of the day, this is lesser of a game than previous Battlefronts. It's more beautiful, but it's still a lesser game than what the consumers have had before.
Mm-hmm.
And I really feel like they're going to have to earn those customers back that are gamers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not just Star Wars enthusiasts that'll buy every Star Wars thing that comes out, right? But actual gamers. It's going to be a difficult road for them to kind of go down. So.
Nice. And now, like, let's address the fact real quick about it being EA, and then we'll wind down and do what we got to do for the outros and stuff. With it being an EA title, of course, there's EA Access out there. You'll be able to, if you do have EA Access, you'll be able to play the game for I believe it's 10 hours, and try it out before you purchase and stuff like that. But not only that, like there is a chance of it going into the vault eventually. Usually, like maybe within a year and a half or so of its release. I don't know, guys. What do you think? Do you think there's going to be people out there that basically are like, well, I'm just going to wait for it to be in the vault? Do you think that the vault will hamper kind of like titles from EA because people just think eventually it'll go in there
Well,
and
people think that way for
Do-
Netflix, right? I mean, or wait until it gets their cable bill. So there's always going to be people like that, regardless. I think it's not the majority though.
all right. Newark, what
They
were
got
you going to say?
marketing rights.
What happened?
Sony's got marketing rights, if that's what you're asking.
So what if they pull Titanfall 2?
I don't think that'll ever be pulled again. I think EA saw what was going on over there, and I don't think that will happen, man. But that's my opinion. So
Dice is not independent, so they fall under the 100% the EA umbrella, where the other company you're referring to.
that's
on
a great
Titanfall,
point.
They are independent, but EA is their publisher. So there's
Oh, okay.
a different relationship there. So it all depends on what that contract is and what they've decide.
Mhm.
And sometimes if one company feels a little more ballsy than the other, they'll push the issue, right? So, but on this, I think Dice is, they don't have any say in it. It's all 1% EA say on what happens with that title.
All right, I got you, man. Yo, Invader, what do you think about the whole EA access thing? Do you think do you think it'll have like an effect on the sales for? I know Star Wars is such a big name and stuff like that. I know it's gonna sell no matter what, but do you think that there's gonna be a fairly big percentage of people that just be like, you know what, we're just gonna wait for it to go into the vault?
Well, it's definitely gonna sell, but as far as the vault goes, yeah, I think there's gonna be more than a few people waiting because of how they were burned by the previous game. A lot of people
Exactly.
felt burned. So I think there'll be a few holdouts because of just how the game was received before. But overall, I do think though that the game will sell well, and that the vault, while hey, it's cool, and there will be some holdouts on it. There's still gonna be a lot of people that are just like, hey, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna try it out, see how it is, go and buy it, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, a year and a half is kind
It's
of
a
a
long
long
wait.
time, man. That's a long time to wait.
Yeah.
If you're a Star Wars fan, well, first of all, if you're a Star Wars fan, even though like I know Battlefront was a disappointment for a lot of people, I have a feeling that with what was shown in the trailer, and having that single player and then showing like like I said, the fights through the cities, that's where I really was like, oh my goodness, this is awesome. Like this is I'm kind of sold on that. I feel like there won't be a lot of holdouts, but there's definitely going to be
No.
a percentage there just because of Battlefront 1.
There will be some. Well, yeah, there will be some for sure because of Battlefield 1. I mean, Battlefront 1. But no, I think that a lot of people just are also just not going to want to wait because there are so many. This generation, there's been just so many games being pumped out, so many good quality games, and people just aren't going to want to wait to just put it on hold.
Yeah.
So, like for me, if I want it, I want it in an instant. So, like, hey, I might. I mean, as much as I say I'm cautiously optimistic, hey, I'll probably get Battlefield 1. I mean, Battlefront 2. But yeah. But I don't know. I think the Vault has some impact, but I could still see the game doing really well.
I mean, I like the 10-hour trial thing. That's good. I think that's actually going to sell it more than anything. I mean, it's a it's a little bit of an effect, and for people who kind of hold a grudge and are really adamant about it, I can see them waiting like that year and a half or so. But all in all, I think it's going to sell well. Like I said, I'm excited for it from what I saw so far, and I would love to see more. But then again, I'm a
Mhm.
gamer. I always want to see more. You know what I'm saying? Um, but yo, Foos, what do you think about EA Access with this, man? Do you see a lot of like kind of like disgruntled Star Wars Battlefront people holding out, or do you think that 10-hour trial is really going to help?
You talking to me? You kind of
Yeah,
bought it there a
Foos.
little bit for
Yeah,
me.
Foos.
But I heard the question. Um, now I think that 10-hour trial is probably going to sell it because if this game is good, if it's like I said, good back when the old Star Wars Battlefronts came out, like that good, and you try it, you're going to go out and buy it. And there's a lot of Star Wars fans in the first place that are going to buy this game anyway. So the people that hold out are really just going to miss out for that year and a half, like you said, and that's not good for most people. I don't think a year and a half is going to be what I'm gonna be doing for it because the first game was good. It just wasn't the old school Battlefront.
Yo, the thing about the first one, the thing that caught me was the graphics, because there was points in time where I couldn't tell the difference between the Battlefront game and like one of the Star Wars movies. Like they had the particle effects from
Oh
the
yeah,
guns and everything down to a T. Like
the
that.
sound in it is amazing.
Oh
I
my.
mean, when you're
Mm.
going through the woods and you hear the Ewoks and it feels like they're about to run up on you, it's amazing.
It's a Scorpio launch title too, so
Oh yeah, definitely throw that out there as well, because like we said, the Scorpio, the hardware was made like around the current engines, and that's definitely the Frostbite. I mean, the
Well,
Frostbite is a big part of this
let's
generation.
let's talk about that. So, do you think you think that it's going to hit 4K, 60 frames per second? Because that's the rumor for
I
Scorpio.
think so because
Yep.
EA got their whole thing on DX12 now, right? Like then they said they was
Yeah, it's been
they
on
said mention
DX12
something
for
about
2 years.
like X12.
Yeah, and they've been implementing more and more stuff every year. But you think they're going to hit 4K 60 frames per second on Scorpio?
I'll say yeah. I'll say yeah. I'll go out on a limb and I'll say yeah. They're
4K
gonna hit that.
60.
Yep.
That's the rumor. That's why I'm
Yeah,
asking.
six.
All their games has always run 60 frames per second, so keep that in mind. So if they're going to drop anything, they're going to drop the resolution, I would imagine.
The Scorpio engine, which is the chip, has a 4K embedded on there. I say it is.
You say it is.
Yeah,
Anybody else?
that's their whole marketing. I believe so.
All right.
Anybody else want to take that?
Invader. Well, let's hit our guest real quick, man. Come on, Invader. What do you think, man? Are you predicting that as well?
I didn't catch the last part of that.
Go ahead, Don.
Was the prediction?
Well, so no, it's not a prediction. There's a rumor, right? With anything Scorpio, there's nothing but a lot of rumors, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there is a rumor that Battlefield's going to hit 4K 60 on Scorpio.
Battlefront 2.
Battlefront 2, sorry.
That's tough because that Dice engine, that Frostbite engine's pretty. I mean, doesn't that have like quite a heavy workload on the consoles?
But they've always been optimizing every year, so like that's what makes the bet interesting, right? Or at least calling it out. I mean,
well,
go ahead.
Yeah, you know what? I'll say. Okay, bet's a bet. I'll say that it hits it.
Nice.
I'll say that it hits it just because I mean, if this thing really is the graphical powerhouse that Xbox makes it out to be, then that might. I'll say that it hits 4K 60 frames.
What about you, Foos?
Yeah, I said yeah already. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
already.
I didn't get elaborate with it, but I did.
But yeah,
Yeah.
no,
But then you got to listen to Microsoft's wording of things
yeah,
when they
yeah.
said all first party titles that's launching in Scorpio's time frame will be 4K.
When did they say that one?
When they
That
described it a little more
I'm about
in
to say I don't
detail.
know the source, but I know I've heard that.
Okay,
I,
no,
I
that's
can't
fine.
tell. Yeah,
No, that's fine
no, I'm
because
about to say I heard it from somewhere.
I know people are going to ask you. That's why I point
Yeah,
that
it's
out.
it's from someone that I'm not sure if Phil said it, but I'm probably sure he probably said it.
It's going to be interesting
But
because go ahead, New York. I didn't mean to cut you off.
but see, I want to believe that it will, but my gut is telling me otherwise. I wanted to hit that, but my gut is gonna tell me 1800p
You're going to go for
Mm.
at
1800 then?
1800p at 60 frames per second
Uh huh.
multiplayer
Ah.
and
oh,
4K 30.
for the single
You
player.
know, I ain't mad at that, but I don't
Think
know
about
about the
it.
30 for the single player though.
No, I think it's
Breaking
gonna
it
be
up would
60.
make sense.
Nah, 60 frames. You don't need 60 frames for single player. But think about it. 1800p is the new 900p. You know what I'm saying? And 4K is the new 1080p. When you
No,
Wow.
put 1080 plus 1080, you get 2160. When you put 900, you get 18. So the
those are all.
roles is going to reverse, and you're going to have a lot of PS4 Pro games like it is now upscale, which is equivalent to Xbox 900p. So
Okay,
it's the
so
same thing. It's like a new
if there's
generation of
parity,
last generation.
if there's parity with PS4, do you think would that piss you off if they held it back to 1080p instead of hitting the 4K? Because they
Is
have the marketing rights.
Well, if it's on the pro, then it
Scorpio
won't
is
be.
boost mode? No,
It,
maybe stop playing.
if it's on the
Go
pro, it's
ahead.
probably going to be higher than 1080p. And I will say I'll go out there and say, just like we talked about with Resolution Gate in the show earlier, um, the overall native resolution doesn't really matter to me. If they want to do parity, because the performance is automatically going to be better on the system that I'm going to prefer to play on, which would be the Scorpio. All right. I don't have a problem with it. You know what I'm saying? As long
Well,
as the performance is good, the gameplay is good, stuff like that. If they're gonna upscale to 4K, I have no problem with that.
you know what's crazy?
Yo,
Is let's say they didn't even dress 4K. Let's say they just port the Xbox One. You just have the Xbox One S. Version of the game. It's still going to get the 16. On the 18 scene, 16 times
Mm.
18 scene, and the texture filtering is better. So you actually see better draw distances on the textures. The textures are cleaner when they come into view, all that sort of stuff. So in some ways, even if they didn't do anything, right, the game in some ways will be better on the Scorpio
Yeah.
if they just supported the standard
bro,
Xbox One. So it's pretty
just
crazy to think about.
just imagine if we could have 1080p on a Scorpio. Like, just imagine the visuals, though.
Oh, if
I'm
they
gonna
Yeah.
just
channel
leave
the
that there.
resources into other
I'm gonna
things,
just, man,
Guys, I
listen.
have a question that's a
sure.
little bit kind of off topic while I have the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, with EA Access, you know how they let you do the games for 10 hours or whatever? Now, with the Xbox refund self-service thing coming, do you think that they're gonna change that?
Oh wow, that is a great
Mm.
question because if you go in and buy it while you have that trial and stuff like that, like, do you think? Wow. Anybody want to tackle this? Do you guys think that they'll change like that 10 hour um kind of like trial with the refund thing coming down?
Nah, because even if you're talking about campaign on EA Access, they don't give you the 10 hours. Don't go to the campaign. They will cut you off at the second mission.
All right.
I
Yeah.
think I
Oh, I
think
know
that
what
they
you're
would
saying. Like
probably knock
the
it
10
off.
hour, because yeah, you can't go past 2 hours. That's a good question.
Yeah, on the refund, you can't go past 2 hours, right?
That's a great question.
Yes. I wonder how. Yeah. How would that? work. That's an interesting confliction right there.
Holy
It's been bothering me for like 10 minutes now, and I've been trying to like get stuff done so I can ask you guys.
Mind blown.
But
Yeah, like I'm
you
I'm
don't
like stuck right now. I can't even like
but
wow.
you don't purchase, but within 10 hours they probably be like, oh well, he know if he wanted it or not. But I don't know.
Mhm.
That's a great
Maybe
question.
they won't allow like refunds on the EA Access games or something. I'm curious to see where that goes.
Yeah, definitely because
That's a great
if
question.
you get 10 hours to play the game, like you pretty much decide on whether or not it's good or not. So they could definitely kind of like cut off like those EA games in terms of digital refunds. That is a great great
But you
topic,
know
oh
what?
snaps.
That 10 hours also goes towards your full purchase. So whatever you save, your progress
Uh-huh.
also transfer over to the full game. So I'm thinking the trial gonna have. That's crazy. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Somebody tweet Phil real quick.
Yeah, I think even though there's a conflict there, I don't think it's enough conflict to really raise that much of an eyebrow. At the end of the day, because they kind of have to do just kind of a blanket statement on their returns
Mm,
policy in regards to their platform. I mean, even indie developers that have really small games are getting really pissed off at Microsoft right now. Somehow, not getting pissed off at Steam, but getting pissed off at Microsoft, even though they're identical programs, right?
yeah.
But at the end of the day, there's always good. In order to be customer friendly, there's always going to be these things that are going to be a conflict with their partners. But I think at the end of the day, they know that they will get more. Consumers are willing to take a risk. That's the whole point of that, right?
Hmm.
The consumer is willing to take a risk on a product, and if it ends up getting refunded, guess what? They're going to get a risk with something else, and so what it does, it causes that free market to compete for your dollar, right?
Mm,
So at the end of the day, I think everyone's going to end up a winner. More games are going to get bought because people are not going to feel burnt on products in regards to that, and I just don't think it's really going to be an issue in the long run. People are going to say crap now, but at the end of the day, I think everyone's going to be a winner, the
mm.
consumer and the developer in the long shot.
To go with what O Snap said, I'm gonna say O Snaps. I think what's gonna happen instead of them kind of like not giving you that option for the digital refund, they might really put in restrictions for the single player like even more. Because EA, when it comes to EA games, I don't see a lot of just strictly single player games coming out of that publisher right there. So it might be a title by title basis. If they have like a strictly single player game coming out, then they might not offer that refund because within the 10 hours or so, like why would you put a restriction and only like let people go to level 2 on something but still give them 10 hours? That wouldn't make sense. Oh man, you got me thinking like crazy right now.
Well, also if you abuse the program, they'll lock out your account.
Mhm.
So if people are looking at this as a platform to kind of cheat and get the game for free,
Mhm.
right? I would advise not doing that because you're gonna lose your whole game library because it's all tied to your account. So they got you stronghold the whole entire time. So if people are thinking in that sort of mindset, don't do it. It's not worth it, man.
Wow, that's a amazing question. Yo, Foos, did you chime in on what O Snaps asked? Foos? Foos, did we lose the golden
Fools
voice?
missing.
Yeah, I believe we lost the golden voice. But yo, O Snaps, that was an amazing question. Man, you're gonna have me
I mean,
thinking
I
for
would
a
love
while.
to know what the chat thinks.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely.
I'm tweeting Phil right
you
now.
guys think? I
More
gotta go,
more
guys, because my phone's about to die.
Oh no, charge it, please.
I'm at that 10%.
Uh oh.
This is the reason why we need snaps on the show more. I'm
Yeah,
just gonna say that right now.
yeah, definitely. Like she just completely blew my mind right there. Um, Oh snaps! Thank you for joining in. Like I said, it was an absolute surprise, and you came in pretty much at the end of the show and dropped a bomb of a topic right there. So, yo, guys in the chat, whatever you feel about what OSnaps asked with the digital refunds and stuff when it comes to EA access and that 10-hour trial, yo, definitely hit up the chat and let us know what you think. Um, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna start winding down right now. We've gone for a little over 2 hours, and we've kind of like kidnapped Invader over here. Invader, I'm not sure if you realized how long this show might actually go, man. But dude, it's been an absolute pleasure having you as a guest on the show. Dude, do not be a stranger. We would love to have you on again. You brought a lot of great opinions to the topics that we talked about tonight, and you're just an overall intelligent gamer. Why not let everybody know, where they can find you, about your YouTube channel, if there's anything you want to plug. Basically, the typical outro, man.
Well, hey guys, I would love to be back, and thanks for having me on again, and thanks for everybody who tuned in to rock out with us. It was great having everybody show up and be a part of it. If you guys want to check me out, check out my YouTube channel at Invader Gaming, and definitely hit me up at Twitter at Invader_1986.
Beautiful, beautiful. For people, if you check the description, I know I accidentally misspelled channel in the description, but Invader's YouTube channel is there. There is a link in the description below. Yo, definitely check it out. He has a bunch of great content, and you know what to do if you like the content. You just hit that subscribe button. Yeah. But
yeah, and sorry, just happy Easter to everybody as well.
Beautiful, beautiful, man. Nice. Let's move on down the list here. Yo, Newark, you were on fire tonight, man. I might have to give you the MVP for tonight. Why don't you let people know, like, where they could get a hold of you if there's anything you want to plug, man? You know the deal.
Yeah, everybody come over and join that Xbox News for Xbox Gamers Facebook group. Try to keep it a little live over there, but we post, like, shout out to Kelvin Brandon. He drop bombs every now and then, but post a lot of news about Scorpio every now and then. So just come over there and come check us out. And you can also find me on Twitter, where I'm usually raging. And my Twitter handle is NorkNJ360, which is also my gamer tag, and Xbox News for Xbox Gamers group on the Xbox One also. Everybody have a rest of the great weekend and happy Easter.
Nice, nice, man. Just to let you know, I think you made K Mega proud tonight. I think he was a little bit worried with him not coming in, because you know how K Mega is. When he has an opinion, man, he'll just keep going with it. I think you made K Mega proud tonight, and like I said, yo, you did a great job, man. I really appreciate it, dude.
Yeah, Mega, if you're listening, man, take some pics, man.
Yeah, he hasn't
Yeah,
shared.
definitely.
He hasn't shared any in the DM or anything yet, man. This is.
That's because he's doing the Macarena. I'm telling you right now.
Mambo number 5.
Right now. Exactly, Mambo number 5.
But
Exactly.
hope you're enjoying yourself, bro.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Yo, HTK, yeah, I am on Discord. I keep everything simple. Everything's Xbot448. So just you can kind of search for me if Discord has that. I don't know. I'm not too happy with Discord, but yeah, I am on there. Let's go to the golden voice. You know, that smooth talker, yo, Fooskies, man. What's going on, dude?
Yo, yeah, I don't know, man. It's been good. I just had a birthday recently, so it's been busy. But yeah, you can hit me up on Twitter, Fooskies1. Hit me up on Xbox, please. Actually, I need some teammates on some of these games. I think I play Rainbow Six the most lately, but I'm down for some Halo for sure. Ever since I seen Xbox and Newark's gameplay a little bit ago, it's making me want to jump on there. So, hit me up. But yeah, man, happy Easter to everybody, and take it easy this weekend.
Nice, nice, man. Yeah, you got some quite a bit of Twitter love for your birthday, man. Like, dude, I went over and I saw that there was just so many like happy birthdays and stuff like that on Twitter. Yo, happy birthday! How's it feel to be 22, man? I just want to know.
Oh, it feels amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It feels like everything I thought it was going to.
Nice, man. Well, yo, happy birthday! And I did see what you and your better half are doing on that on that day. And I'm really happy for you guys that everything is working out with her and all that good stuff. So huge shout out to Mrs. Foose out there. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate it. Thank you so much, guys.
No doubt, man.
Hey,
Uh,
oh, I can't leave it without, since K Mega ain't here, we do got to shout out Intramedia Gaming, Mr. 100. You know,
You're supposed to do
No, you
that
gotta
when I'm
keep
wait.
rolling the
moving.
outro, man.
Yeah, you
What?
gotta wait until Don hits the button.
But yeah, no, huge shout out to Mr. 100, everybody at Intro Media Gaming, Lady Infamous. I was actually on GRG podcast last night. I actually like fought Discord and was able to get on, and I gotta say my two favorite panelists on that podcast are Delilah HD and Lady Infamous. They hold that show down. Um,
Yes. Love the ladies.
You know what's funny is they keep K Mega in line.
they do.
I
They
love it.
do. Oh my goodness! Like the off the air stuff when they get off the air, it's absolutely hysterical, yeah. But yo, well, Don, man,
No holds barred.
no, not at all, dude, not at all. But yo, Don, why don't you let people know where they could get a hold of you? If there's anything you want to plug, anything you've been up to lately, man. You know the deal.
Yeah, the best way to get a hold of me is the Don KTR on Twitter. It's a underscore between the Don and KTR, and on Xbox Live it's just a space. And I do have a YouTube channel called Happy Little Polygons. I don't usually promote it too much until I actually post something. And believe it or not, I posted something this week. It's in regards to scaling games between basically more powerful hardware to less powerful hardware, and how all that's going to work, and why you guys should not have to be worried about the haves and the haves not between to two different mid gen in the original pieces of hardware if you're a PlayStation guy or an Xbox guy. So if you're interested in that, it's not for everybody, but it does answer a lot of questions, I think, for a lot of people. So
Nice, nice. I do want to say, oh snaps, are you there? Are you there, oh snaps?
Yes, give me 1 second.
All right, no problem. Well, since we're giving her 1 second, let me do my plugs real quick. Obviously you're on my YouTube channel, but I keep everything simple. Everything is Xbox448, whether it's Xbox Live, whether it's PSN, Twitter, like everything is Xbox448, just to make it simple for you guys to get a hold of me. And like I said, yes, I am on Discord as well, even though I really don't like it. All right, so we gave her a second. Is she there?
Yeah, 1 more second.
All right, 1 more second.
She's getting Xbox certified.
Got 3 big websites. That's
I heard about that process.
Oh,
I don't think I'll ever
no.
go through it.
nasty. I'll be right back.
Oh, we heard the be right back
Yeah, I
part.
wasn't on mute. Oops.
No, you weren't. No, you weren't.
So what's up?
Not too much. We're winding everything down, so I just wanted to see if you wanted to let everybody know where they could get a hold of you. Maybe kind of plug Coffee Casuals consoles, stuff like that. Maybe a little
Guys,
iTunes.
Coffee Casual Consoles is now on iTunes. I'm so
What?
excited. And SoundCloud. But yeah, that's super cool. You guys can find me here once in a blue moon on the next podcast. I was really excited to join tonight. I haven't been on in a while, and I've been on here and there tonight, but it was really exciting to be on the show again, and everything's smooth at work, so that's really unusual. And yeah, check out my channel. You can find me on Twitter at Girls Can Game 22.
Beautiful.
hey, oh snaps! If you want to be smooth at your work again, just let me know. I'll make it happen.
Oh,
What
good.
did you say?
If you want me to make it smooth at your work again, just let me know. I'll make it happen.
You got it. Come on down.
Nice, nice. It was great to have you on, and like I said, you dropped that bomb at the end with that topic
Awesome.
that I'm probably gonna be thinking about like all night now. So I really appreciate that, by the way.
I'm glad I
Oh.
got to join the show and chat with the chat peeps because the chat's my favorite. So I do have to go now, guys. So you guys all have a great night.
Nice, you too. Thank you again, oh snaps. It was awesome.
It's good having you.
Later, guys.
Later. And guys, like I always say at the end of the show, if this show is your show, guys, everybody in the chat, everybody who watches afterwards, if it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be doing what we do. You give us the strength to reach further, to try to do more, and to be as entertaining as possible for you guys. And we really, really appreciate it. The community as a whole is absolutely incredible. I love being a part of the gaming community. I love being part of the Xbox community. And you guys come out every week and support us. And I thank you so, so much. But it is the weekend. We are Saturday night. And I know the gamers want to get to gaming. So, like I always say, I will check you next Saturday on the next podcast. Have a great weekend, guys. And don't get drunk off that chocolate tomorrow. I'm just saying.
You can get drunk off chocolate?
Yes, sir.
How do you do that?
You just you eat so much you get sick.
No, that's not.
Down off the drop.